students from the International School of Indiana. Curious, multilingual, and confident.
In 5th grade, I went to Mexico by myself, and then in 8th grade I went to Barcelona, 9th grade I went to Costa Rica. So it's really great to be able to go to all these different countries by yourself and learn independence.
Educated in the globally recognized International Baccalaureate program, their perspective will be in demand from universities after graduating from what the Washington Post ranked as a top 50 high school in the nation.
Viva El Salvador!
International schools use foreign languages and diverse cultural influences to drive the educational experience. There are just a handful in the United States. The only one of its type in the Midwest is here, founded 20 years ago.
International schools have a very special atmosphere. You can sense it as soon as you enter, that it's friendly, welcoming, it's respectful without being overbearing.
When I came to school, all the teachers are really nice, and everyone can remember my name. That's a new experience to me.
What is unique about the International School of Indiana, or ISI, beyond its location, is its vibe. Many kids from central Indiana mix together with other students and teachers representing more than 70 countries.
You know, I've worked in the Middle East and I've worked in Europe, and being from Scotland, I've taught in Scotland. And I can tell you, really with all honesty, that I have never met kinder students. And I have a theory about this. It's because of the unique marriage between internationalism and the Midwest, where you have good family values, where the students are really rooted in what is real, combined with being exposed to global ideas, big concepts. You know, when you walk into ISI, you literally are walking in to meet someone from Mexico, someone from Sweden, someone from Saudi Arabia, India, Scotland, literally from all over the world, all under the same roof, working together, collaborating.
No one in the school knows that more than senior Stephen Smith. A New Yorker, he came to the school in 5th grade after the death of his father, a 9/11 first responder.
Initially, I am from here. So once he passed away, I was kind of ready to come home, you know, and my whole family's here. Of course, I had to find him a school here.
The people themselves were all very different than they were in New York. In New York, they're not as welcoming to new people. So when I came to ISI, everyone was really interested in, getting to know about me.
Once he, got here, he made friends right away. They embraced him right away. And he was just so excited. And every day he would come home, it's like he met a new friend.
It's a constant surprise. You get to meet new people, and you get to become friends with the people who come from just other parts of Indiana or other parts of the U.S. It's still an opportunity for you to get to know someone else and get to know what their interests are, like if it's music or theater.
I'm so happy for the choice that I made, because I've seen him grow as an individual. Actually, I would have expected something like an ISI to be in the middle of Manhattan. I am still blown away that something like this institution exists here in Indianapolis, and it's a jewel.
With the beginning of each school year, a bell rings at the lower school. The oldest student and the youngest lead the way. It's done in Russian schools, a symbol of togetherness, one of many traditions brought from across the globe in 20 years since the school's beginning. The story behind how ISI began is an unusual mixture of visions. One part passion for a globally connected school, and another part no less than being a central concept in a business blueprint to transform the Indiana economy.
Really, the whole idea started out with the endowment, Lilly Endowment, financing a study.
The endowment was interested in looking at how to integrate Indiana more in the global economy. And so they created this task force which would have 4 committees, one dealing with international education in general in Indiana, the other one on international air connections, one on international organizations, and the fourth one was looking specifically at the viability of an international school. And one of the key challenges that we were facing was that when we had people coming mid-career from abroad to Indianapolis, they were not finding the level of education that they were used to in their countries of origin.
The Indiana economy was faltering, deeply flawed, and international competition was suddenly a reality to an awful lot of our people. And then, of course, prodded by folks like Lily and others, it was pretty clear that we weren't exactly ready yet for all these people to come and invest their money here. And so that was one of the reasons that this international school was so important.
Estaba el ciento muy bonito.
This was a monumental challenge. The task was to really establish, where there had not been one, a school that was completely new within the context of Indianapolis. A school that would recruit and hire qualified teachers who would be teaching in English and teaching in Spanish and in French and in other languages.
A board was created, and among its first tasks was to begin a national search to hire a headmaster for the school. Alain Weber had run an international school in San Francisco and was fascinated about what was happening in Indianapolis.
How many times in one lifetime does one get the opportunity to create a school?
Weber arrived in Indianapolis in early 1994. He dove into creating curriculum and working on what was considered a critical element to the success of the school, recruiting local families to attend.
I was going from one church to another, one room to another, different places, to try to convince people that dual language education was for their children. And that was very interesting because the parents did not have the foggiest idea what I was talking about.
The emphasis was on what a school like an international school could provide local families looking for a very different education experience to prepare their children for the 21st century.
There was also the issue of teachers. It was considered vital that teachers be native speakers, able to teach not only language, but also culture.
So I went to Mexico, to Madrid, to Paris, to Montreal, and advertising and finding the right people that wanted to come to Indianapolis. And that was also a big attraction, because having these folks in Indianapolis made it very different.
And yet with every hire was a lingering concern.
I remember waking up in the middle of the night and saying to myself, my God, the responsibility. I brought these people here, they are coming, we are getting visa for them, we are doing everything. How are we going to pay them?
Fundraising was a constant priority for the board, but with the doors set to open in September of 1994, a school was rented, a tiny old building next to a Unitarian church. After more than a year of recruiting teachers and families, the school was ready to open.
It was the 1st of September 1994, and the parents did surprise me very much because they had decorated with balloons and all of that, and the teachers were outside. I remember singing and welcoming each child and each parent into that very warm building, that building which made everybody think of the one-room schoolhouse. The teachers started to speak in their language the first day, and think about it, these poor little kids went to the classroom and did not understand at first very much what was going on.
I remember that my teacher spoke Spanish and only Spanish, and none of us knew Spanish, so we all thought that was odd. And my mom loves to tell the story about like 2 weeks in, I came home and I was like, Mom, I don't think my teacher knows how to speak English.
We started the first day with 42 children, and we started on a Wednesday or on a Thursday, and there was a long weekend of Labor Day. And during the weekend, I received notification that a parent decided that it was too much for them, and they left. And they had 4 children. So during the weekend, we lost 10% of the school population.
But the fragile school persevered.
It felt experimental at the time. We had a little cafeteria. It was bare bones, to say the least. Parents painted the classrooms and cleaned the bathrooms.
It was an old building. The bathroom did not work very much. Sometimes we had flood, and everybody had to help out. So I always say that the board, when before hiring me, did not ask me the right question. They asked me about pedagogy, about what I knew about international education, but they never asked me if I had any knowledge about plumbing, snow shoveling, and all these kinds of other things that you have to do in a school of that nature.
The fuel for growth is talent. We look at certain characteristics: excellent education, skills around innovation and collaboration. So from this standpoint, the International School of Indiana is a great partner for us.
We don't care where the best research scientists are in the world. We want them here. And so Indianapolis is just a much more attractive place for people to live because of the international school. That's important when we're recruiting people from Boston or San Diego, and it's important when we're recruiting people from Shanghai and Argentina.
When people think of the Midwest, and I myself included, don't automatically think of it as an international hub, do you? No, you don't. But to my surprise, it is. Because we have big companies, international companies here who are all sending their children to our school. When you walk down the corridors of our school, I mean, you have these kids who are, born in Carmel, but they're speaking Mandarin to each other, and they're speaking French like they have been in Paris all their lives. It is extraordinary.
Décider vraiment de se comprendre sur eux parce qu'ils ont le bon et le mal aussi.
Beyond attracting people to Indianapolis, ISI has helped keep some here.
My worldview has been broadened, not just my children's, by all of the people that we interact with and learning what they learn about different cultures and different countries. And we absolutely fell in love with ISI and the people that we met there. It really swayed us to stay in Indianapolis as opposed to move back to Chicago, which had always been our plans.
ISI students, with their intent to travel and their mastery of language, have found fascinating ways to integrate the two and help others. In 2010, when a massive earthquake devastated Haiti, 2 ISI students went with a parent to help deliver medical aid.
After 7 days,
With 10 years of French study at ISI, the 2 quickly became translators for medical dosing in Haiti's Creole language.
The doctors would diagnose these people, and we would either help fill the bottles and then do translation, or we would just do translation, and what it would normally be is something pretty much just instructions, like take this twice a day.
Their education collided with real-world need.
It went from, oh, I conjugated a verb wrong on my test, to, oh, now I'm giving instructions to an 8-year-old about how to save his life by taking, this medicine.
It changed it from being just like a volunteer activity to something more, to something bigger, where you could actually feel like you're a part of this community. And without the language, that wouldn't have been possible.
That cultural exporting of Midwesterners around the globe is a testament to the impact of a school like ISI.
What will the legacy of all this be? I hope that it is that Indiana and Indianapolis in particular have a different worldview, a view that looks at the entire global economy, the global society, the global culture, and that education is one element that brings us all together.
When people come to Indianapolis and you say, oh, we have an international school, sometimes they're shocked. In the Midwest, you have an international school. Oh, this is a much more progressive city and a much more progressive state than we may think it is. And so I think international school has had probably a more far-reaching impact than maybe they fully realize.
It's an incredible legacy. the international school 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years from now will be there and will be a testimony of what Indianapolis was able to do at the time.